Welcome to today's lesson. I'm Siamasaka, Korean Dance. And so today I'm going to take you through a lesson on the extraction of metals. So straight away we can go to the lesson for today. Well, actually, the extraction of iron will be actually dealt with today. And so we are saying actually iron itself is extracted from the ore of hematite, and hematite is actually iron 3 oxide. And this actually extraction of iron takes place in a containment known as the furnace. And so this furnace is well suited to actually cater for the production of iron because of the relevant properties in which actually this process takes place, the reactions take place. And so actually the furnace itself requires that 3 materials actually are used in order that iron is extracted. And these are coke, and coke is actually carbon. And the second one is iron ore, which is actually hematite or iron 3 oxide. And then the third one is limestone, which is actually calcium carbonate. And so these 3 materials actually are the ones which are used and are poured in the furnace so that through these reactions we can come up with actually molten iron. And so this is the diagram which shows actually how this containment is. On top there, actually, on top of the furnace, we have to pour coke, which is the carbon, iron ore or hematite, which is actually iron 3 oxide, and then the limestone, which is actually calcium carbonate. When you pour it, it will come in contact with the hot air, which is actually injected through these pipes, So this is known as blast hot air, and therefore we have the blast furnace. And so when these come in contact with the coke, iron ore, and limestone, because it's very hot, actually there is a reaction. These are the reactions we're going to look at. What is produced as a byproduct are the waste gases on top here, through those pipes, as well as the molten slag, which comes down there, and then the molten iron. And so we will now look at the actual reactions which take place in this containment, okay, or the blast furnace. And so the first reaction is that actually when we pour the coke, it will come down there where it is very hot, and it will come in contact with hot air, and therefore there will be a reaction. And we know that hot air contains actually oxygen. And so the coke, which is the carbon, will react with the oxygen to form carbon dioxide. And this reaction is an oxidation reaction because oxygen is added to carbon to form carbon dioxide. Whenever there is an addition of oxygen, that reaction is actually an oxidation reaction. Where oxygen is actually removed, it is known as the reduction reaction. And so the second reaction is that actually they produce the carbon dioxide during the oxidation reaction. To further again reacts with more coke. And so this coke will form carbon monoxide. And this is a reduction reaction because actually oxygen is removed from carbon. And so the carbon monoxide which is produced is the one which is used also to reduce actually the iron 3 oxide. What's oxygen be removed from the iron 3 oxide. So the carbon monoxide will react with the iron 3 oxide to form carbon dioxide and iron. This is also a reduction reaction because oxygen is removed from iron 3 oxide. And so the molten iron which is produced actually goes down, and because it is less dense than the slag, it will collect at the bottom and it will be collected through the pipe down there. And so then we are aware that the molten iron actually will contain impurities or unwanted substances, and therefore limestone is used to remove the impurities. But the limestone itself, actually, we don't use it. First of all, we have to change it so that it forms calcium oxide or quicklime. And the quicklime is the one which reacts with impurities. Okay, and so the limestone or the calcium carbonate is first of all decomposed to form calcium oxide, which is quicklime plus the carbon dioxide. And so this raw material which has been produced, which is calcium oxide, is the one which is used actually to remove impurities such as sand. And so sand will react with the calcium oxide which was produced during the decomposition of limestone. So it will react with sand, which is known as silicon dioxide or silica, and it will form the slag, which is calcium silicate. So actually slag is known as calcium silicate. And so it means that we will have reduced or removed the impurities. And so these reactions are very important because they are always asked, and at what level there is an oxidation reaction, reduction reaction, and how actually the iron is produced during the extraction of iron from the hematite. And so I thought today we'll look at how iron is actually extracted from these three raw materials. That is the coke, which is carbon, the iron ore, which is iron 3 oxide, and limestone, which is calcium carbonate. And we saw the reactions. The first reaction is where actually the coke or the carbon reacts with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. And the second reaction is where the carbon dioxide reacts with more coke to form carbon monoxide. And the third reaction is where actually carbon monoxide, which is produced, is used to reduce the iron 3 oxide to form carbon dioxide and iron. And this iron which is formed, actually, it contains impurities. For last to remove the impurities, we have to decompose the calcium carbonate so that it can form calcium oxide or quicklime plus carbon dioxide. And this raw material which is produced, the calcium oxide, is the one which reacts with the impurities such as sand or silica or silicon dioxide to form silicate actually. And the silicate is the one which is known as slag. And so I thought today we can look at these reactions to enable us to know actually how the iron is extracted in the blast furnace. So next time we'll look at how this iron which is produced is used in industries or in our day-to-day life. And so if you want to get more of this lesson, please continue actually subscribing to my YouTube so that you can get more of these lessons. I thank you.